So, if you're feeling miserable, or if you're not enjoying your life, or you don't want to start in a process, and you don't want to go through all of the hard work, or you feel like that you're not up to it, you can't handle the hard work, it is because of one simple reason that we unconsciously don't realize. And that is that every single process that we go through, every single mission has its ups and it has its downs. There's the up period where everything is going fine, and there's the down period where everything is against us, when we can't see the sign of hope. And what happens is that people aren't willing to face up to the down periods. People aren't willing to face up to the points when you're breaking, because you want to stay in the positive times and the positive periods. And in the positive periods, you can't grow because there is no demand to grow. Because if everything is fine, then everything in your body is fine. So what happens is, no need to change. But when everything is against you and your situation is not being beneficial to you, what happens is that change must take place. The body demands change. Something must change. If you're in the gym and you're at your breaking point, you're going to failure, the body must grow. The muscles must increase in size, become stronger, to be able to contract harder, to be able to pull up that weight the next time round. And when you're in your good periods, when you realize that you can come back to the weight that you used 2-3 months ago, which you found hard but now it's quite easy, is because you've gone through that growth. You're able to see it. And it's the same thing with everything. It's with studying. When you're studying something and you're not understanding and you're struggling, you see the struggle is what is finding the understanding. Because when you struggle with something in studying, you are trying to establish an understanding to be able to solve questions like that in the future. The same thing is business. If you are struggling, then you are narrowing down, you are filtering out the ways that won't work to be able to find what does work. So the next time you have the problem, you have filtered out the ways that don't work, you know which doesn't work, and you can use your past experiences. But the biggest problem is that we don't want to face the down periods. We don't want to face going down and being discouraged and having times of depression and anxiety. We don't want to go through that. And it's overwhelming. It's an overwhelming idea that after we have the positive times, after we've enjoyed a part of our lives, then we go downhill. We have to say to ourselves, do I really want to go through all of that again? Do I really want to have to muster up all of that willpower once again just to get out of this problem so I can get back to where I was? You see, if you think like this, it'll never work. Because if you plan forever to feel happy then sad and happy then sad and happy then sad, yeah, it sounds depressing and it's overwhelming, and you will quit. You will live a mediocre life trying to keep the balances as close to each other as possible, with no real highs and no real lows. But what happens is that you will always be in a constant level where you're not enjoying anything, but you're trying to avoid everything. Now, to give you an analogy, let's put it like this. Imagine if the entire Earth was flat. It was all the same level. What would happen is, we wouldn't know if we're 500 meters above the sea level or 500 meters below sea level. We wouldn't know how high up the ground is, the earth is. If all land was at the same level, we wouldn't know how high it is. We can't distinguish. But with mountains, with valleys, we can see the differences, and you can appreciate where the low areas are and where the high areas are, where mountains are, when you're at high altitudes, when you're at low altitudes. Then you can appreciate it because you have the two sides. It's the same thing when summer comes around. We only enjoy summer because we go through winter. Because we don't have the sun, we miss the sunlight, so when it comes, we appreciate it. And if it wasn't for the night, then the sun would carry no meaning. Then daylight would have no meaning. Then the summertime, if it was summer the whole year round, it wouldn't be a pleasant time. You wouldn't associate it with going out, because you need the winter to distinguish the good from the bad. You need the bad times to appreciate the good times, to see them. Let's take it for another example. If you're wealthy, or if you have a meal every day, you will not really appreciate that meal, because you don't go through the times when you can't afford a meal. You don't go through the times when you have to skip a meal on the day because you have to save money. Or if you're an asthmatic, you see, a regular person does not appreciate the fact that they are able to breathe normally. But when an asthmatic has an asthma attack, they appreciate the fact that they were able to breathe. And when they go back and when they recover, they appreciate where they were. So that's why once you change the way you think about the highs and the lows, once you change the way you think about negative situations and positive situations, and you realize that the negative situation is going to benefit you because it's going to show you how good the positive situations are, you will look forward to them. And here's the next thing, that you wouldn't mind going as deep as possible down into the most disadvantageous situations, because when you rise back up, you're going to see the whole world change around you. Everything will lift off of you and you will be completely relaxed. But if you didn't go through the down period, and if you never grew, then you would never experience it. Then every day would look exactly the same to you, which is why it creates uncertainty, which makes it exciting. If you knew how every single day was going to be, and you knew this day didn't carry too much stress, and the day after didn't carry too much stress, but nothing ever happens that is good in your everyday, in everyday life, if nothing good is happening, then it's a boring life. Then you've reached the end because you know what everything that's going to happen. It's like watching a movie and knowing the ending. What's the point? The whole movie's been ruined. Same thing with your life, except the fact that the deeper you go, it means the higher you're gonna go up. And you only grow in the disadvantageous situations. You only grow in the negative times. So don't say, why is this happening to me? But say to yourself, I am growing, but everyone else isn't. So when I come out of this situation, I will have new skills, I will have a changed mindset, and I will enjoy the positive times. Enjoy the negatives and enjoy the positives.